Welcome to BreitWerks. So today we're going to be attacking the triangle of death. So triangle of death consists of the breather cover, the thermostat. That hose is rock hard, wow. The thermostat that's down in the bottom there, as well as, I don't know if we can see it easily here, but this guy there is the sender that turns on the light to tell you that you have oil pressure, or tells you don't have oil pressure if the light's on. So we've tried to clean the area up, vacuumed it, and now we're gonna attack those one at a time. Probably do the breather first and see what's underneath there to see. So based on how easy that little guy came off, I'm not sure that this was sealing too well. Plus, if you look closely, you can kind of see where oil was migrating. So everything's bone dry because it hasn't been started in forever, but if we can still see that oil had been migrating up and around that stud hole, yeah, you can just imagine that that was probably making quite a serious mess. But we'll get that gasket changed. First we got to scrape it off. We'll plug this hole up really well because that is open to your crankcase. So you want to make sure that absolutely 100% you stuff stuff down there so that you don't end up getting any detritus inside of the crankcase. All right, so you can see we got everything cleaned up. We got the engine case portion cleaned. Pretty good. And then we also went, remember, we saw some evidence of weeping from that hole. So we had gone in and bead blasted this with some glass bead, and you can see the porosity of the magnesium. So when we put this back on, we're actually going to use a little bit of a sealant in addition to the gasket, but definitely weren't any cracks. A lot of times you find a crack because this is mag. If this were a full engine rebuild, we'd change this out for an aluminum one. Trade this to a race car and put an aluminum one on a driver car. But we're gonna just put this guy back in, and we're gonna clean a little bit more, but everything is really, really nice at this point. So get that on, and then we'll be back for the oil light. All right, as for the oil light switch, we got the old one out, and we've also got our new one, and we verified that they both will kick the switch on at around 0.4 bar. But yeah, so I don't know if we're going to be able to see it, but you see there's a little crush washer on the end of the new one. On the old one, someone had flattened it out all the way down. So yeah, I would imagine this thing was leaking. Somebody just kept cranking it down. So I believe the torque spec on these is 20 Newton meters. So that's what, 17 foot-pounds, 15 foot-pounds? Not much, maybe less. So verify your torque specs, and yeah, as flat, boy, somebody cranked that thing down. So my guess is we had some oil migrating from there. So hey, I'm not going to pull the adapter out. If we were rebuilding this sucker, yeah, the adapter would come out, put a new O-ring under it. But for now, we're just going to go with the switch, and we'll get that little sucker installed. Okay, thermostat is out. You can definitely see that the O-ring is flattened, and there's a little bit of migration going past it. So, triangle of death is truly the triangle of death. The breather, oil light switch, and the thermostat. So we'll get that O-ring replaced. As we were taking the old O-ring off, it decided that it wasn't rubber anymore. And yeah, so not only did we get the source of a potential leak, right? but we upgraded to a Viton O-ring, so that one ought to be good for quite some time. So we'll get some stuff cleaned up and then we'll get that guy reinstalled. Well, there you have it. The triangle of death all cleaned up. So we did the thermostat O-ring, we did the temp sender, or the pressure sender, and we did the breather. And while we were in there, we changed out some throttle stuff and a couple of little vacuum hoses. But yeah, not too bad. Easier probably to take the engine out, but if you're determined to do an engine-in triangle of death, it can be done. You just got to get the fuel injection system out of the way. All right, thanks for watching. Check us out at BreitWerks.com.